Welcome, welcome. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. My very first live in a really long time. And today I am so happy to be welcoming my amazing, beautiful friend, King, fellow Lightworker, and absolute angel, King Jerome Shaw. To our live stream right here on queenaline.raw. Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. You read my mind. I was going to ask you if you could play for us.
Oh yeah, you must have sent it to me telepathically.
I swear to God, I did.
Yeah, you like Jean Grey, Jean Grey and Cerebro. You sending out these messages. You pinging me through the universe here.
Yeah, we don't even need messages anymore.
We got it right here. Divine greetings, Queen Aline.
Divine greetings, King Jerome. Thank you so much for joining me here today and joining us all to share your amazing light and to let us know a little bit more about yourself. A couple weeks ago, you interviewed me and I just wanted to know more about you. I was like, oh my gosh, how did this happen? I want to ask you some questions today. So we're going to have an interesting conversation.
Of course, we're here. We're here. We're ready. We're ready. You seem so bubbly today, so energetic. What's got you smiling today, Aline?
It must be the snow, these gray skies.
It's snowing out there?
I am in Montreal, Canada right now, so it is cold. I know I sometimes share some pretty pictures of Billy, but I'm in the cold.
Can you show us a little bit of the frosty outside? Can you show us a little bit of the snow?
Sure, let me take you to the window. You're so funny. Let me take you. This window doesn't open. I'll take you over there. I'm in an apartment building, so
a lot like Christmas.
you feel
Whoa! Dang! Oh my gosh! It's really like. Am I seeing this right now? This is crazy.
Yes, it was in Celsius. It was minus 38 degrees yesterday. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, but it was cold.
Oh,
it was like frostbite cold.
You a chill dog out there. You chilling. You out there chilling.
It's rough. It's rough, but you know, somebody's got to do it.
Wow. Sending you
I never
warmth
thought.
for the winter. How do what are the things that keep you warm?
Well, being raw foodist, actually, surprisingly enough, people think that like being raw will make you feel cold, but it's actually the opposite. Like my body temperature has really adapted more eating this way. I used to be cold all the time, but definitely like eating a raw food diet. Like I don't eat anything cooked, and like I don't even believe it how warm my body is regulating itself. But for sure, we have to wear like hats and gloves and coats. Like all you see are my eyes when I go outside. I'm just like,
Wow.
definitely have to.
Yeah. So cultivating that fire within. So you're saying when you're not ingesting so much cooked, you actually build your own fire when you're not throwing fire inside.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Also like the circulation, the whole like circulation of the body, just everything functions better. Yeah. When we're
Thank you for sharing that.
cleaner.
That's a little pro tip for the raw foodists out there.
Yeah. A lot of people are like, oh, how do you stay raw in the winter time? And I don't know. I just remember being so much colder before. Yes.
I mean,
Have you ever seen the snow?
I've seen the snow in spots, in different places, like in South Carolina. I remember it snowed like one time. I remember here in Texas it snowed like maybe a couple times out of the years that I've been here. But that's interesting that you say that, Aline, because yeah, you don't see a snow bunny, going around eating like cooked carrots and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Or whatnot, like the animals in nature that have their own sources of heat, I would assume, they're not eating the sorts of things that we're eating. So there is like a natural way. It's like nature always provides.
Mm. Well, all animals eat raw. Even if they're eating meat, they're still eating it raw.
Mm.
Nobody cooks their food except for us.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And also, like, being in this climate isn't really the most natural thing in the world. You know, we've adapted to this kind of weather. Of course, we've had to, eat for survival, but really, really, we're meant to be in the tropics. We're really meant to be like eating fruit from the trees. That's just our natural human, you
Yeah.
know, biological composition. So
Mhm.
it's just really interesting
Yeah.
for me to be back here, especially after being in Belize for so many years.
Hmm.
But it is what it is, and I'm in full surrender and acceptance of the situation. And I love the winter too. Like it's fun. We went sledding, we went cross country skiing.
Hmm.
That's
I
another
saw
way
you
to
took
enjoy
pictures.
winter.
Yeah.
We just got to keep it fun, you know?
That was your family, right? You took pictures with your family.
Yes.
Y'all went
Yes. My
sledding.
daughter,
Yeah.
yeah. My daughter and my dad and our dog. Even the dog went sledding. Lolita. So great.
Yeah, it looked like fun. Awesome.
I like your hair, by the way. I like the braids.
Hey, appreciate it. It's growing on me. It's growing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a new exploration. Yeah. Hmm.
So wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, okay, so I have a few questions that I'd love to ask you because so many people are curious about. Let's dive right into it, into the Breatharian lifestyle.
Hmm.
Do you know how many people have told me it doesn't even exist? Like, what is it? Aline, you're crazy. Like, because I've been telling people, I'm like, this is a thing, this is actually the thing. This is what we are, deep down. And so I'd be so interested in hearing, and there's different like explanations and different people I've heard sharing. So I'd love to share with everybody what it means to you and also how you came about, finding this beautiful path.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Aline. And beautifully put, I love how you talk about how this is who we are. Because I truly do believe that. I don't believe that like one person is this or one person is that. Like if one person has the capacity, we all have the capacity, right? If like one person can do it, that means we all can do it. So I truly believe in our natural or our supernatural given abilities that we all have, to be able to expand, to be able to stretch. If we can go one way, we can go the other way, you know? So it's really an awesome sensation when you have that kind of exploration in your life. And I came about it through, actually the avenue that I came through was an avenue of pain and heartbreak, some loss. I had come from a long relationship, and that led me into wanting and having a yearning and a fire burning within me for something new, something different. I knew that what I had done up until that point wasn't working. And I'm sure you can relate, that you come to a point where the pain overrides the pleasure. The pleasure that you might get from something is weighed out by the pain that you're receiving from something else. So for me, chronic living, chronic nourishment, what we call breatharianism, living on light, these terms and phrases kind of come from the ancient word inedia, which means to eat very little or not at all. And I truly believe like we all have that capability. So when I discovered that it was even possible, it blew my mind and captivated me to develop a curiosity to know more. I mean, can you imagine, like, has there been something in your life that you had a calling towards this thing and you just felt like, oh, wow, I need to investigate. I need to do research. Like, I need to find out more about this.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what it was like for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's so amazing. I got so excited and nervous, and I didn't really give you a proper introduction. Thank you so much for that answer. And I'm going to do a proper intro.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah.
But I just and it'll make a parallel with this lifestyle and your answer as well, because I just admire everything that you're doing. I just admire truly the light that you have become and the light that you are sharing with the world. You know, like I really feel that when we embark on this lifestyle of fasting and more pranic light energy, we really start to tap into like our divine essence and our purpose in life. And I see you every day. For those who don't know, King Jerome has an amazing podcast, The Open Palm, where he shares, you know, regular people like me, snippets of like our talks. And also he shares his own wisdom and experiences in life. Just the amount of love that you're pouring into the world and into humanity is like incredible, you know? And I could tell that it's come from a deep place of pain as well, you know? The Rumi that says that the the light enters us through our wounds, or the wound is where the light enters us. The wound is where the light enters us. And so through your pain, you were able to like have this wide open gap where you surrendered to like receiving the light, you know, and through that light comes your true compassion and like service to others. So I just want to encourage everybody who's watching to like, and also the emptier we get, the more we can be blessed by God's grace, you know, by divine light, by divine bliss. And it's like less about our own ego, and it's more like, okay, fill me up. Like I am, you know, like I feel what you're saying too is that you surrendered. You know, the pain was so much, the struggles that you had to go through were so much that you surrendered to a different way and to also receiving divine guidance. And I just feel like you're so divinely guided. I see even the people that you're meeting in your life, the miracles that are happening, like that is just pure alignment with like mind, body, and spirit. And I truly admire that. And that's really why I started on this path as well. I'm not as far along as you, but I've definitely, you know, had some fasting experiences with water fasting. I'm trying some dry fasting more and more, juice cleansing and things like that. And every time I have been fasting, I have been experiencing what you probably experience on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Which is pure magic.
And thank you so much for that sentiment. You know, I received that, Aline. And Queen, thank you so much for just, you know, blessing me with those words. I'm very humbled to receive that. It's always good to get that feedback. And I was listening as well to your podcast and your sources on your YouTube, your videos, when you talk about going into fasting and coming out, going in, coming out. And that's how I feel like we do these things. It's not just straightforward. The path is not just from point A to B, you know. It's sometimes it goes up, it goes down, it goes in, it goes out, it goes forward, it goes back, and we take steps. But we get there. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Just thank you for saying that. And I know you say that you're just a regular person, but I see us as the same. You know, I don't see us as any different. I feel like the light that you see within me is the light that's shining within you. You know, it's just confirmation of your own light. Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. Yes, as we let our own light shine, right? We let other people, we give them permission to shine too. It's just so easy to shine around you. It's just so easy to like feel good about ourselves and about life. I actually wrote a poem down that you wrote. I wrote it down. I'd love to share it. Can I share it? Because it's just, I find it really represents you so well, and I just love it so much.
You said I wrote this?
Yes, you wrote this. It was from your page. It was from your Instagram.
Okay, cool.
Okay. It just shows like the gratitude that you have for life, and that is just so contagious and so intoxicating for everybody around you. Okay, it goes like this. What a beautiful life this can be. So many sounds and sights we can see. Allow yourself to live life your own way, seeing the magic in every day. It is then that the mystery unfurls. You are the spark that lights up the world.
You go, girl.
You go. I had to write it down and share it. You know, follow Jerome. He's so inspiring. Every day, some inspiring content. And really, like, you really do. This is how you live, you know, and you just like see magic everywhere. And you are the magic, and you bring the magic everywhere you go. And I feel like so many people are so, maybe this will be a question. Like, so many people are playing small and playing in their own shadows and afraid to share, afraid to like shine their light, what would you have to say? Like, what was the turning point for you where you said yes to being this um, light worker, this light being, and saying, okay, this is my mission
Yeah.
and I'm going to share.
Yeah.
Whatever comes my way, this is what I'm going to do. Maybe to others who are like are shy or feeling like they have to share, they want to share something, but they're scared. What would you share in your experience?
Yeah, great question, Aline. I'm just enjoying this. I'm enjoying this back and forth. This is awesome. Um, when I think to myself, and as you read that poem, it was as if I was listening to someone else. It was almost as if like, did I write that? Like, did I really write that? I know that I did. Like, I did, type that in there, but it was almost like coming from somewhere else. Like it wasn't originating from me. It was like flowing through me. So I think things are like that, like inspiration that flows through you and can be passed on to another person. Like the energy, like that you say is contagious, right? Aline, the energy of your smile, of your radiance, of your electricity, of your enthusiasm, that energy can be passed on and transferred to other people. And they don't feel it until you feel it.
Mm.
So what's really cool about all this is that everyone, just like we said in our last interview, our last talk, you talked about everybody has a story. Everyone has a story to tell. Every mess can become a message that can shape somebody else's ways of thinking, that can get the gears turning in just a different way for somebody else to cause a change in their life. And like you like to say, your test can become a testimony for somebody else, and you never know who you may touch, just by putting that message out there. So one of the things that allowed me to do it freely and allowed me to let go of that fear of judgment, that imposter syndrome of, oh no, 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 I'm not worthy of this, and how can I tell somebody how to do this or what to do or how to live, was the idea that we're all just living in our own worlds. Like we're all in our own little bubbles, our own realities, and we're walking around. And for the most part, I had to come to a realization that people didn't really care as much as I thought they did about like the judgments that I thought they might have against me. They were probably thinking like, oh, I wonder what they think about me. They're not really
Yeah.
thinking about you like that, they're thinking the same thing. So
Yeah.
when you understand that at a fundamental level, that everyone is in their own ecosystem, you get out of the ego system, you
Ooh.
leave that and you come back into, okay, it's not about me, maybe it's about the person that might be listening, that might just need some inspiration, and let me just put this out there and not think too much about myself, not take myself too seriously. Another thing, Aline, that allowed me to put myself out there more often was understanding that a year from now, a year will have passed. Whether you do it or not, whether you chase it or not, whether you go for it or not, a year from now, a year will have passed. So the time's going to pass by anyway. It's not waiting for you to decide. So it's you that has to make that decision. And they say that the hardest part of the thing sometimes, the half the battle is showing up. The best ability is availability. And that's one of the things I admire about you, is just being available and allowing yourself to be open, sharing the space and holding the space for yourself and for others to do what we're doing right now. Yeah.
Thank you. Wow, that was a beautiful answer. So powerful. So many like golden nuggets in there. I love when you said like go from the ecosystem to the ego system. Sorry, go to the ecosystem, not the ecosystem.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I for sure. And that's also like something that I resonate with, that I felt even being, self-conscious about how I look or things like that, wherever I would go, I'd be like, man, you know what? People are more concerned about how they look than how I look. Like people are so into just everybody's worried about the same thing at the end of the day. And I like when you said that at the beginning too, like we're all the same. You know, if I feel jealous, that person probably feels jealous.
Mm.
If I feel anger, that person probably has anger. Like we're no different from each other. We're all just like winging it in this life. You know, we're all just kind of like figuring this out. Nobody has it figured out more than others. We're just in different stages of our evolution. And if we could just like
Exactly.
humble ourselves and learn, everybody has something to teach us. You know, I've
Exactly. Yeah.
hung out with people that, you know, nobody would think that, you know what I mean? Like homeless people have so much to teach us, and, you know, doctors have so much to teach us, and dancers, artists, poets, like we're all in this together, and
Mhm.
we just have to like understand that and come together more and more. And that's really what you do. You bring people from all walks of life. I remember we spoke for like one day and you're like, do you want to do an interview with me? And what I admire so much about you is your courage. I know I said this earlier, but you just have so much courage and this egolessness to risk being, you know, even said no to or quote unquote rejected by many people who may not want to do it. But it's like, but look, you find those who say yes. So when we put ourselves out there, when we put ourselves on YouTube, yes, we risk getting maybe negative comments. And for me anyway, that's been like a big block why I haven't shared.
Mm.
I received some negative comments a couple of days ago, and I just kind of like shut down because it hurts, you know. And it's like, okay, but how am I still gonna show up? How am I still gonna come forward, even if I'm not for everybody? You know, that's okay. And it's like shutting that voice out for those who really do need us and those who do resonate with our message and our voice and the way we have to say it. So I just admire you so much. I admire your courage. You're so down to earth. You're so humble. You're funny. Just like
I appreciate it. You know, I really do appreciate you seeing me that way. You know,
yeah.
because we often don't see ourselves quite like the rest of the world sees us. You know, there are certain qualities and aspects of ourselves that others seem to bring out of us, and others see that we don't see. You know, you can look at yourself in the mirror and you see things about yourself that others don't see, and others might see things about you that you don't see. And that's a really cool thing, you know, to understand that you don't have to compare yourself to a person. You are unique enough. You know, no one is like you. No one, there's never been another you, and there will never be another you, you know, when you leave here. So they say that comparison is like the thief of all joy. It robs us of our joy when we compare ourselves to this person. And to dream of the person you wish to be is to waste the one you are. You know,
Mm,
you have so many wonderful qualities, like celebrate.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. I'm 38 and I'm just coming into like really loving myself as I am and not trying to fit a mold, you know? Not necessarily that I tried to fit a mold my whole life, but I've always been, you know, a little envious, a little like, oh, that one is more successful. That one is thinner. That one is more beautiful. That one is smarter. And I've always like tried to I don't want to say like appropriate myself of those traits, but I always felt like I wasn't enough. You know, what you're saying is like we are enough,
Mhm.
who we are, as we are. And people think I'm crazy when I say that because, hi, Aline, you got everything. You're beautiful. You're smart. But it's like how we feel inside. And that comes from deep, like childhood wounds, you know, from whatever was imprinted in us as children that we have to heal and overcome. It has nothing to do with how we look. It has nothing to do with what we have or what we say. It's really like a self-limiting belief that we have. So, you know, hearing that and seeing others rise as they are naturally, you know, it's just so empowering to me. Yeah, so thank you for being so honest and encouraging us to share. You know, when you say to somebody like, hey, I want to hear you, that makes us feel so special and important. Like, what, me? Like, you want to hear what I have to say, you know?
Mhm.
And it's just encouraging me to do the same. And I hope this creates like a ripple effect with others too, and to create real connections, real conversations. There's so much like just messaging on Facebook and Instagram. So you really caught me by surprise, you know, when you invited me. And I love that element of surprise in life. So, you know, surprise somebody and do a live together, like do something crazy and fun and scary too. Yeah, I think it's so good to get those natural highs from life too.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I
maybe it's,
empathize because, you know, I love to surprise and I love surprises. you know? So yeah, like they say, your vibe attracts your tribe. We only
Yeah.
had like maybe one short little, vocal thing, like little back and forth, and I already knew. I was like, oh yeah, I want to talk to her. Like we need to get on here because I knew that you had something to say. And look, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Queen Kazri came on. I was just on the phone with my sister, and she's so
Mhm.
excited to be here. I have a few people watching.
Shout out to the Queen Kazri. You said Queen Kazri?
Yes, yes, Queen Kazri.
Much love to her. Awesome.
So I want to hear more about how your process of like, what does freeing yourself mean to you? I feel like you've had to let go of a lot in your life. And, you don't have to go into too many details, or you can if you want. But I feel like one of the things that I really admire about you is you seem really free spirited, like the true meaning of free spirit. People use that word around. They're like, oh, I'm a free spirit. I'm a free spirit. But I truly feel like you are a free spirit. Like you are liberating yourself from your traumas, your wounds, your pains, um, and truly embodying that freedom, even from food, from substances, alcohol. I'm not sure what your past was with these substances, but, and even, might I say, probably toxic people in your life too, to like have all these amazing people coming into your life. You must have done a good cleanup job
Oh,
in the
man.
past. So can you tell us a little bit more about your process of letting go and freedom?
Yeah, life has its own kind of feng shui, as it were. When you start to arrange things, things start to rearrange, in your life. And there was so much letting go. Thank you for asking, Aline. You're allowing me to reflect on just how many things I have let go in my life that I never knew that I would, or I never even knew that I could, you know? But in the back of my mind, I was like, I think I should, but it was like I just didn't know how. It's like, how do I let something go when it's like kind of like how you said, with the mindful eating. I watched your video on being kind to yourself, and you talked about when we're eating, there's one form of eating where we can eat very calmly and very lovingly, but then there's another where we can eat very compulsively, you know and chaotically, and so I was in both worlds. And so I saw how things changed when I changed. It's like nothing changes until you change, but once you change, everything changes, you know so I got to the point where the things that I had acquired and consumed and just really had on me became too much of a load. It became a burden to carry all that. I became very encumbered. And one of my friends told me something neat. He said, take a box, like just a nice little box, and put some stuff in the box, either clothes, things, whatever you're not using. And then put that box in like the corner of your house, like a corner somewhere. And if you don't go to that box in that corner for anything in a month, give it away.
It's
Give it
good.
away. Just
Yeah.
give it away. And don't worry about where it's going. Don't worry about selling it. Don't worry about who it's going to. Just give it away. And when I started doing this, Aline, everything changed. When I started letting go the movies I wasn't watching, the video games I wasn't playing, the clothes I wasn't wearing, like all of the things that I had me, you know?
Mm.
It's like the things that you're holding on to could be holding you back from that next level, from that next step in your life, in your evolution. And when I started to look at all of the physical as energetic, I said, all of this is just energy. This
Mm.
energy is weighing me down. This energy is holding me back. What would happen if I released all this energy? What would start to come back? What could you receive when you released, when you allowed yourself to relinquish all the things that you weren't even using anyway, you know? So you could allow another person to enjoy something just like you enjoyed, just like the feeling you had when you first bought it, now somebody else gets to have that feeling. And now, since that space has been opened up, what have you allowed into your sphere, into your field, because you allowed for that space? So when I asked myself those questions, I started to receive answers fairly quickly in life. And it became in the way of situations, events, outcomes, circumstances, people, places, the places I needed to be, to see the people I needed to see, to say the things that I needed to say, to be right in that right place, that divine timing. All of that came naturally when I started letting things go. Yeah.
Mm. Wow. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. You even rhyme when you speak. It's like
Oh man.
flows through you. That's so amazing. Wow.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. I think that's a true sign of spiritual growth is being able to let go and making space consciously or subconsciously. That's when more blessings can come in, because I love when you said the things that I was holding on to were holding me back, or like, and they were like weighing you down. And I just feel like in our society, and I'm guilty of doing this too, is just like constantly just consuming more, like I need this, I need that. And really, we really don't need much. And I was shown this when I was living in a bus in
Hmm.
Austin, when I was like water fasting, and
In Austin, Texas?
I was in Austin, Texas,
Wow.
a couple
Wow.
months ago.
What was that like?
Yes. Oh my gosh, that was, that'll be a whole other video in itself. But I went there on a relapse. I went there to go in sober living, and I got the message in my sober house to water fast.
Hmm.
And in the middle of a bunch of women that I love with all my heart, but they were, eating pizzas and macaroni and cheese and microwave dinner. And they just thought I had lost my mind. And I said, I had gotten this call before, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it here. So I
Hmm.
started water fasting while I was in that sober home. And 10 days in, they were like, what are you doing? Like, you're not dead. Like, are you dying? What's happening? We're freaking out here. Like, you need to stop. And I said, I don't think I'm going to stop anytime soon. But anyway, they didn't know how to deal with me. They didn't know what to do. They're like, we're not a water fasting facility. So I said, all right, well, I'm packing my stuff and I'm going. So I found a little bus behind my friend's house, and I just continued my fast there. And I had to like get really minimal because I didn't have a lot of space. So I gave away a lot of my stuff, gave away a lot of my clothes.
Hmm.
And um, yeah, and I just water fasted, and I was like, wow, I really don't need anything at all. And I'm the happiest I've ever been. I was so happy. It felt so free, so light. And I really miss that feeling because then I went back to eating, and also the foods too, like liberating ourselves on a physical level too. Like something was coming through before is that when we clean our temple and we become like a clear channel, then we just like become a conduit for like miracles
Hmm.
like all the time, because we're not overwhelmed with other stuff or food, ideas, people, toxic. You were talking about movies and music and things like that. Like those things definitely weigh on us. They're definitely like vibration and frequencies that we allow into our body and our energy field. So it's so important that we talk about that too. A lot of people talk about food, a lot of people talk about detox, but like detox is everything. Detox is, where are your leaks? We were talking about this, Queen Kazria and I. It's just like we have these leaks in our life, like these holes where like our energy is going towards, even if it's like people that we are maybe helping that aren't being grateful. That's a leak right there. That's like an energy leak that has to be kind of closed off so that we can save our energy and preserve it. Especially light workers, with everything going on. I know a lot of people are like feeling the stress of the world, feeling the like uncertainties and the insecurities, and it's really important for us to just like close that bubble as much as possible so that we can hold the light and hold our own strength, keep it together. Keep it together so that, because people need to look to us. The people are looking to us, and I never thought I would say this because I was such a mess my whole life. But it's like people are starting to look to me for like hope and answers, and as they're looking to you too, we're like, okay, wait a minute, if someone's shining bright there, like let me hold on to that light for hope. And I think that's one of the most important messages you give to us, that we can come from really challenging places, really dark places, and we give people hope just by being alive, just by being alive right now in our world. So many people are taking their lives. I'm hearing of so many just sad stories of, you know, people who are just like, they lost hope. And so that's one of the most important things. And that's why I do what I do. And I'm pretty sure that's part of what you do as well, is to give people hope. And yeah, share
Absolutely.
your, yeah, share your own hope, how you kept hope in your life.
Mhm.
What kept you going when things were so rough? Like, what were you holding on to in those dark moments?
Mhm.
Like, what was it that just was getting you out of bed every day, you know?
Yeah, you know, and thank you for sharing that as well. I really appreciate like hearing your story and hearing you come from, you know, that place and then even going into that bus. You know, it's interesting. You told me earlier that you called me courageous, you know, and I feel that there is no courage without fear. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like, it's not the absence of fear, it's being able to do something in spite of your fear. Even though
Hmm.
you might be fearful, you still move anyway. And that is bravery. Like, that is to be courageous. So, you know, it just makes me wonder, like, what kind of courage you had in those moments when everybody called you crazy, you know, when everybody thought you were going, you know, mad or nutso, like, what allowed you to continue? And some of the things, like you talk about with hope, you know, being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, being able to see the silver lining even though there are clouds, you know, covering the sky, being able to know that even if you don't see the sun shining, the light is still there. It's still there. You know, it's right behind them. You know, you can't see it, but it doesn't mean it's not there. And I feel like I've wired myself this way over time with like the gratitude mindset. It's like a
Yes.
muscle. You know, gratitude is like a muscle that you can flex. And the more that you flex it, the stronger it gets. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for reading that. I didn't want to get like lose my concentration, but I was like trying to read it. But I was just like, I'm focusing on your word. Somebody said they loved your T-shirt, and I was like, what is it? I couldn't read it backwards.
Mhm.
Yes, gratitude.
Mhm.
Gratitude is everything. And I had a coach in one of my other sober homes, and he said, as long as we're alive, we have something to be grateful for. As
Mhm.
long as we are alive,
Mhm.
even if you think you everything is falling apart around you, like you are here. You know, you have another chance. We always have another chance to find joy, to find peace, to find the answers, and to connect with other people. And I think a lot of people are so sad and so depressed because maybe they don't feel connected. They don't feel any kind of connection with others. They
Mhm.
feel alone. They don't have a connection to themselves, to God, to, um, you know, the opposite of addiction is connection. And being in the addiction world, like I've seen so many people relapse over the last, few years as well, because just connection, like isolation is so, dangerous. But yeah, coming back to gratitude, like the more we, yes, and he told me that. He was like, every day, write a list of gratitude. And I was so depressed, even though everything was okay, I guess, in my life. I was just so depressed. I only saw black. I didn't see what the blessings in my life. I wanted to die. Like I was suicidal. I just wanted to go. I just didn't even want to deal with it. But he was like, he almost forced me. He was like, every day you're going to write down 10 things. Like you have a bed to sleep in, you have clothes on your back, you have food to eat,
Mhm.
like just write them down. And he made me write them down. And now it's like natural. It's more natural, but I had to write them down for some time to like force myself to be like, oh, wait a minute. Like I didn't realize, I have a book to read. I have my phone. I'm like, there's a lot that I have, air to breathe. And I became more grateful. And now it's like, it got me out of my depression. Literally being grateful got me out of my depression, got me out of my dark hole, and helped me to see that even if not all days are great, like there's always something beautiful in every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's like one of my best friends tells me, you know, he says, be happy not because everything is good, but because you can see the good in everything, you know?
Mm,
And Aline, when you were saying that, you know, having a mentor to guide you and to tell you just 10 things, like you can find 10 things, right? 10 things, you know, and you just start small
yeah.
with what you look around you. What can you see? Because whatever you focus on expands, you know,
Hmm.
wherever your attention goes, energy flows. And what you focus on the longest grows the strongest. So it's
Yes.
like, being able to build that gratitude and cultivate that for yourself. I have a question for you. And this was a question I saw off the highway one day. I was driving and I saw a billboard, Aline. And this billboard had just one message, and it stuck with me. It said, "What if all you were left with tomorrow was everything you were grateful for today?"
Mm. Hmm. Well, you're coming with me.
She said, "You getting in the ride? Like, we going." She said, "Definitely you." Oh my gosh.
Definitely you.
You warm me. You warm me. Oh man. Oh, you're so sweet.
That's funny. I was like, what would you take on an island, right? If you only had like 5 things to take.
Hmm.
I'm taking you. I'm taking my daughter. My water distiller.
Mm. Okay, Jerome, my daughter, my distiller. Oh my goodness.
A pen and paper.
Mhm. So has writing, ever since that time when you started writing those gratitude lists, have you continued that habit? Has that become a part of your lifestyle now?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Every day, like it's the first thing I do. I actually get on my knees and pray every night. Like I get on my knees and pray, and I give thanks. I give thanks for everything I have. I give thanks for even my troubles. I give thanks. I give it all to God, and I'm just like, help me with my problems. Whatever I have, I give it to Him, and I just name whatever I'm grateful for in my heart, in my mind. And those things have been growing, the more I am grateful for amazing people in my life, the more amazing people come into my life. And I pray, like, I don't, I don't even ask for anything anymore. I kind of like thank him for what's already there. I'm like,
Mm,
thank you for all my friends. Thank you for the money. Thank you for this beautiful jungle paradise with coconuts
mm,
growing for me. And like, that's how I've been manifesting things. And that's how I know things will continue to manifest in my life. Because when we ask for things, it's like it's coming from this place of lack. So now I'm just like, oh, it's already happened. Thanks.
thank you. Thank you in advance. Thank you in advance for it already happening. Isn't that so wonderful? Like that perspective, it astounds me. Like, Aline, there was somebody I met. We talked about seeing people on the street who are in, different conditions and they're going through things. And I remember walking by this guy and stopping and talking with him. And I didn't have anything on me at the time to give to him, but he just was happy to have the conversation, that somebody cared to just give him the time of day. And he told me something. He said, if you're not grateful for what you have, why is God going to give you more to be ungrateful for? And I was like, like what? Because you just hit it on the head, Aline. Gratitude is a multiplier. Everything that you're thankful for, you get more to be thankful for.
Yes.
And you said it. You said the more I'm thankful for these people, the more people I get to be thankful for. Like they just keep coming to me. And I hear it in your speech, and it's magnetic. It's a magnetic attraction. Yeah.
Oh, well, you're magnetic too. That's how we attracted each other, like magnets. That's how it
Mm-hmm.
happened.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Queen Sitska join too. I loved your talk with her the other day. That was so beautiful. I love seeing you guys connect, and wow, just amazing work.
Mm.
We should do like this just came through. We should do like a round table at some point, like a little Zoom conversation with a few of us. Like that'd be so fun.
You
Like a
getting you
Zoom
getting
call,
some ideas, huh?
a square table. A discussion or some kind of talk. This is beautiful. Have you ever, so maybe we could share with people a little bit about, your work and how you are sharing with others. Can somebody come in person? Like, do you offer support in person, like for breath work? I know you do meditation, coaching. Like, let us know a little bit about what it is that you share, how you're serving and what services how people can contact you and how what you offer. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for that. I appreciate that. I enjoy being of service in the forms of my podcast, offering people just free knowledge, the stories, the wisdom, the tidbits that I pick up from other people that I run into in life. It just gives you, like, whenever you pay attention, the universe is just providing all the time, just everything that you need, um, as long as you have the eyes to see. So that's one of the avenues that I allow for people to listen to the podcast, and that's the Open Palm. It's on all platforms streaming. And as well as that, the coaching and the counseling consultations, there's a link in the bio of my Instagram that you can just click on and schedule me whenever it's convenient for you. So that's another service that I provide for people who are looking for guidance. And it doesn't have to be pertaining to the pranic living or breatharianism lifestyle. It could just be for your own focus, your own discipline, your own clarity in life and your direction. And so if I can be of assistance in any way, then I'm humbled to be a part of your journey in that way. Yeah.
Yes. So great. Thank you for sharing that. And oh my gosh, you're a wonderful mentor. You're a wonderful friend, coach, spiritual guy. Like you're the real deal. And I love to get to know you better. And I would love to continue to get to know you better and, dive deep in my own journey, learning from you every day. So beautiful. And I hope we can meet someday soon. That'd be so cool.
Of course, it's going to happen. Like that's the way
Yes.
energy works, What goes
Yes.
around comes around, always.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about breath work, how you discovered breath work and how it helps to live this pranic lifestyle. Because some people think like, oh, we just, and correct me if I'm wrong, like breatharian doesn't necessarily mean that you don't ever eat or drink, right? Right.
No, no.
It's more like, maybe you can explain a little bit more, but like what I understand of it is like your relationship with food changes and your need for it changes, but it's not like, you never ever eat.
Yeah, there's a saying, the more you breathe, the less you need.
Mhm.
And it's not necessarily to say that you have to do breath work in order to get here. You have to do qigong in order to get here. You have to do yoga in order to get, like anywhere that you think you're trying to arrive or trying to get or trying to reach like a destination. I shy away from that. And I just tell people to enjoy the journey, enjoy everything that comes with it. This life is wonderful. It's beautiful. And whatever lights you up inside, then that's the frequency that you should do frequently. That's what's going to get you to being able to find the form of expression that continues to kindle that fire within you, and it will sustain you. These things can sustain you. We don't know that they can sustain us, but we can be sustained. I mean, can you imagine being in a conversation where you're really drawn to this person or you really feel some type of way and you feel this effect that this person has on you in this conversation, the dance of dialogue that the two of you are doing so effortlessly, like so naturally, you get to the point where you don't think about eating. You don't think about food. You don't think about anything. It's just you and that person. And you might come away and it might have been hours. The both of you time traveled. You went somewhere and you came back, And as that time had lapsed, you weren't thinking about like, oh, I got to go do, satiate this craving or something like that, satisfy this. You were just in the moment. And whatever gets you in that flow state, whatever gets you in the present moment, be that breath work, be that, whatever, your meditation, contemplation, whatever you do, that's it for you. That's the thing. And lean into that,
Wow. What I'm hearing is find your bliss. Find
Yeah.
your bliss. Find your bliss state. What makes you feel blissful? Like when we were children and we used to play and play and we didn't think about food, right?
Yeah.
But it's like as we get older, it maybe take up more space in our life because maybe we're not doing. I love what you're saying. Like we're not doing those things that truly fill our soul. So we're looking for other things to fill the void, because maybe we're empty. We're feeling like, how many times have I said that I feel empty? I feel like I need to fill myself. And so binge. But it's just not really filling it. So I think the true soul food is connection, is
Mm.
friendships, is
Yeah.
love and being vulnerable and just like being there for each other. That is the true soul food. Writing, being in our purpose, feeling inspired every day to get up, get out of bed and like do something that we feel passionate about. For
Mhm.
me anyway, that's helped me a lot with all my addictions. Like you said, the more I fill up with what brings me joy and bliss, then the less I do the self-destructive.
Right, right. The less space you have for the self-destructive,
Mm.
You hit the nail right on the head, Aline. It's like when you follow your bliss, there's no time to be bored,
Hmm.
because you're following your bliss. You know how they say idle hands are like a devil's workshop.
Yeah.
When you're not doing anything, when you have idle hands, when you're not like allowing that energy to flow, being that conduit, being that channel for that creative energy that's flowing throughout each and every one of us, when you're not allowing that channel to be given and received, then that's when we start to find things to do, and those things that we find to do can either be constructive or they might be destructive, you know?
Mm.
So yeah, I feel like within your blissing, you will find your blessings,
Ooh,
and less stressing.
less stressing, more progressing.
Yeah, there we go. Come on, Aline. I know you. You got it. Hey, you a poet and you didn't know it. Come on now, girl.
Sometimes they flow.
You flowing. You
I
flowing.
like to,
I see how you going. Yeah, you
I'm
flowing.
feeling inspired.
Hey.
Yeah. No, my glow didn't just come from the snow. It came from you.
I gotta keep my eye on you. You got it. You got it.
That's funny.
You got it. Hmm.
You got it.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's what
thank
a pimp told me. It's in you, not on you. You know what I'm saying? It's within you. It's not on you. You got it in you. It's already there. You know.
You're bringing it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. To
Mm-hmm.
return to our childlike state, I think is the goal, to get out of our like mental and just have some fun and be like free flowing, free spirited
Yeah.
and tap back into our inner child is really important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, think
They're like,
about it.
hi. Yeah.
Kids can play all day. You know,
Mm.
go outside and play. Go, 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 go. Shoot, right? They can be out there all day playing. Like, were you ever in the neighborhood when you were young, like playing?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, like you could be out there just on your own adventure. That's following your bliss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think adults should do that more, and this world would be a happier place if we all found our bliss and gave each other the chance to live our bliss and just be happy. There's just so much programming and so much pressure to do, to be, but like, yeah, what would we do if we didn't have any money? If money wasn't an issue, we'd all be playing all day, just having
Wow.
fun.
What a
Mm.
question. What a question. What would you do if money didn't matter? You know,
Mm.
what a question. Yeah.
I'd be doing this,
Right. Right. So then
which is what
whatever
I'm
that
doing,
is,
which is what I'm
yeah.
doing.
Yeah. So once you find out what that is, then just do that. You know?
Just do that.
Yeah. What would happen if
And
you
I
just did that? Asking
and the
yourself
money
that
will
question. Hmm.
Yeah, and the money will flow because
Right.
money is energy and it
Right.
flows when you're flowing,
Right.
so
Hmm.
you'll receive it in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
Absolutely. But if
Right.
we just go hunting for the money and that's the main objective, then I feel like there's some blocks there. But if we're truly doing something out of the goodness of our heart and because we love it, then everything else will flow from that. And the money, which is energy, will come too.
Exactly.
Mm,
Exactly.
yeah.
You chase something, it runs away from you. You know,
Mm,
you're chasing it. It doesn't, that energy of chasing, of neediness, of lack, of scarcity, it makes things flee from you.
mm.
But it usually goes to the people who don't need it.
Hmm.
That's very interesting. It's very
Wow.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine if like people like us were just overflowing with abundance and money, which is like what I keep visualizing because the ones who truly need it and would do good in the world, like that's the hands that I would really love to see it go into, you know, healing centers and schools and true service to humanity, you know, like we're selfless people no matter what, you know, but we all need to survive. But like if we were handed, you know, $5 million or whatever, like you know, we would just put that into like healing the world, you know, healing other people and helping like in certain ways, like animal sanctuaries and all, you name it, you know. But yeah, sadly it's going to the wrong hands. We don't really need it and just like becoming more greedy and self-serving. So
Wow, wow,
I'm just putting it out. Yeah.
that's powerful. You know, Aline, it's like as you were speaking just now, you were manifesting just now, you know, as you were saying, like, can you imagine if we had, or if this is like, it's already there, it's already
Yeah.
in that moment, like the moment that you speak that, it's already in existence, you know. So like they say, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. And
Mm-hmm.
what I find interesting about whatever you say is the law of attraction or the law of radiation or emanation or these forms of creation that bring abundance into your life, energy is kind of like, it's not discriminating between you and the next person. It's not saying, okay, this is a bad person, so I'm not going to go to them. This is a good person, so I'm going to go to them. It doesn't discriminate. It's just energy. And you understand how energy flows, then you can allow it to flow into your life when you understand like how it happens naturally. Yeah. So I feel like
Mm.
you already get that. So it's gravitating. It's coming your way, whether you like it or not, Aline. You're gonna be blessed whether you like it or not.
So you. I shouldn't even say if, I should say when. When. Scratch
When?
that if.
Yeah.
Scratch that if, universe.
Mhm. Yeah. It's already here. It's
Oh
here.
no, I've already seen it. I've already seen it. And yeah, just working hard on getting myself aligned to that dream. You
Mhm.
know, like there's a dream, and I think the idea is letting go. It's like more and more letting go of even my limiting beliefs around money.
Mhm.
Money is evil. I don't need money. Money, you know, like all these things that have been kind of embedded in us, in me anyway, like since I'm a little girl and wanting to live this like gypsy lifestyle, like money's not important. But now I'm like, I could help a lot of people with that money, you know, like if I had it. So I'm just healing my relationship with that energy and also with my own intimacy. Somebody told me recently that my relationship with money is actually intimacy issues. And I was like,
Mhm.
no, like I didn't make the connection. The more I think about it, the more I see how it's like making sense that
Mhm.
my intimacy issues with myself are my blocks with money.
Mhm. How did that connect with you? Like, how did you see that was apparent?
I think it has to do with self-worth. You know, at the bottom line is like, what do I think I'm worth? What do I think I deserve? You know, if I don't think I deserve it, then it's not going to come to me, you know, but if I align with that feeling of self-worth, like I do deserve it, then it will have no other choice but to, you know what I mean? Like the vibrations will match. But if I'm not on that vibration, I need to get to that vibration in a sense and work on my own self-love, work on my own, like, you know, allowing and accepting. Because I'm the giver. I'm like the giver. I want to give, give, give. And then when it comes to like receiving, I'm a little bit more like, no, it's okay. You know, like it's okay. But now I'm in a place where I'm like, yes, I'm ready to receive and I'm ready to have like equal, fair exchanges, dynamics in my life. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, okay, well, let's keep this to about an hour so that people can watch it, enjoy it, share it if they want. It was such a beautiful blessing to have you today, and I know we're going to do this again. Is there anything else that you would like to share or add
Yeah.
before we wrap up?
Sure. I just want to give gratitude to you, Queen Aline. Thank you so much for having me on the scene. You know what I mean? I appreciate you. Just thank you for holding the space and allowing for this to happen because you spoke it. You created this because it was like, okay, you threw it out there and then I obliged And then here we are. It's like you said with me, the same thing. You don't know if you're going to get a yes, or you don't know if you're going to get a no, but you just show up and you just allow for that to take place. Just make yourself available. So, you know, one of my friends tells me, no just means next opportunity. You know, if somebody tells you no, it just means next opportunity, you know? And when you use the power of now, now means no opportunity wasted. So now you're utilizing that power of now, that power of, okay, I'm utilizing every opportunity that I have available to me. And that way you'll never be poor. Because to be poor just means passing over opportunities repeatedly.
Jeez.
That are passing you by. They're all in front of you. You just weren't aware that they were already there, you know? So
Wow.
these are the things that I feel like you already know, and you're going to come into that understanding even more so as you allow yourself to be courageous in spite of your fears, in spite of your nervousness, your jitteriness, whatever, allowing yourself to put yourself out there to help another person, you know? It's going to come back to you, whether you like it or not. Yeah.
Absolutely. I know. How many weeks did it take since our last interview to like, I told you weeks ago, I'm like, I'm mustering up the courage to ask you to do this. Like, just give me a minute.
You did it. You know, some people takes years. 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 You know?
I don't got time for that.
There we go.
A couple weeks is good. I love that. I'm going to have to watch this again and actually take notes from your class because I feel like I got a full, like, I got a whole
if the class
class.
is in session, then we're both students. We're both teachers, you know? We're both, you know, it's reciprocal. It's reciprocal. I learned a lot from you as well. Yeah. And thank you for sharing on all your platforms and just for finding ways to be able to express and to show your humanness. That's one of the best things that I love about you, Aline. It's you're able to understand that we are all human. No one is perfect. And that's the most relatable thing, because somebody can see that aspect of you where you're able to shine even in those times where you don't feel your highest. I think we already talked about this, but I just find it very commendable that you're able to show that. And I believe that you also want other people to show those times as well, because it's not all glamorous. You know, it's not all glitter. It's not all gold. Sometimes it gets in the gutter. You know, you get down there and it gets a little dirty. You know, it gets a little messy. But we want to see that messiness because perfection isn't relatable. So thank you so much for allowing us to see that within you, shining your light so bright and giving us the permission, like you said before, to shine as well.
Wow. Wow. Well, you do that. You do that for me and you do that for everybody. So thank you for giving us the space to be ourselves and to be messy and imperfect and just like show up as we are. So yeah, I really hope to I know people will get it, you know, got so inspired. I'm seeing so many great comments coming in. You know, everybody is just like really enjoying our conversation and enjoying you and enjoying all the golden nuggets that you've been sharing with us. Really, really, you're such a powerful spiritual teacher and guide, and so humble. And oh, I don't even know. I'm like speechless. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everything that you do in our world, you know, for really just saying yes to yourself, saying yes to your calling and to being in your most authentic and most highest vibration of yourself, because you really do unlock us. Like so many codes have been retrieved here in our conversation, and I feel like anybody who listens to you is just like coming home a little bit more to themselves and just like tapping into their own power within. And powerful really means to be in control of ourselves. Like this is 5D, like we're redefining what it means to be powerful. You know, powerful is like being in control of ourselves, being sovereign beings, being sovereign, just, you know, divine beings, knowing who we are. And then we can hold space for others around us and we can take care of others around us. And I really feel like we all need to step more into that, because that's what it's all about. It's helping each other out. Yeah. Carrying each other home, holding each other's hand as we walk home. Yes.
Right on. Right on, Aline. Awesome, awesome. So we'll do it again. We'll do it
All
again.
right.
Yeah.
We'll do this again. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. This has been an honor and such a joy and such a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Okay. All right. We talk soon in about 2 seconds. Okay. Bye.
Hmm.
How do I end it?
There's a little X. So yeah.
Okay.
It's
All
gonna be
right.
that X one right there. Yeah. You got it.
What, did we get an encore? Did I see an encore? No. All right. I'll see you soon. Bye.